People who take a Myers-Briggs inspired personality quiz and receive a result of INFP, which stands for Intuitive, Feeling, and Perception, are commonly known as idealistic dreamers. They're classified as highly sensitive, very creative, and deeply empathetic. There are lots of famous artists who are INFPs, but what about the fictional world? Are there any characters in literature and cinema who just may be INFPs? Yes, and here are a few. The goofy and heroic web-slinging super known as Spider-Man and or Peter Parker is probably an INFP. He is deeply romantic, yet shy and hesitant when it comes to pursuing the object of his affection. He also has big dreams and clings to certain moral ideals, even when they aren't popular, and even when it means he must possibly sacrifice his life to uphold them. Classic INFP. Let's step out of the Marvel universe and jump into literature. The adorable and talkative little girl who was accidentally adopted by a brother and sister who meant to adopt a boy to help them with chores around their farm. Anne of Green Gables. She was probably an INFP too. Interestingly, Anne's gregarious nature and charm may have fooled some into thinking she was an ENFP, but when you're a nerd like me and read every book in the Anne series, you realize that she had more in common with the romantic dreamers, INFPs, than their energetic doer counterparts, ENFPs. Romance novels and the idea of falling in love was as necessary to Anne as oxygen. However, it took her about 1.5 million years to realize that in real life she was head over heels in love with Gilbert Blythe. Definitely an INFP quality. It also took her close to 1 million years to write the novel she'd been dreaming of writing since like birth. And even though Anne was a people-loving introvert, she also treasured her solitude, often going on long walks and seeking out quiet places where she could read her favorite books. Diving back into cinema brings us to a twin who, like Anne of Green Gables, was adopted and grew up on a farm. But this farm was in another galaxy, and this kid eventually became a Jedi Knight who saved the universe, Luke Skywalker. He was most likely an INFP because he was always dreaming of something more for himself. And he was chided by his uncle and later his Jedi instructor Yoda for having his head in the proverbial clouds and not focusing on the present. While that may sound like a negative quality, it's not entirely bad. Luke's ability to hope for more motivated him to do great things that no one else thought were possible. But his hope is what made it happen. Speaking of hope, the little kid who momentarily made us forget how awful of a situation Katniss Everdeen was in stole our hearts and gave us hope as we watched the first movie in the Hunger Games franchise. Rue was probably an INFP. She was kind to the incredibly awkward and kind of stoic main character Katniss, and she managed to bring out her softer side, which is something a lot of INFPs naturally do. They tend to latch on to strong silent types and soften them. And that's exactly what Rue accomplished. And last but not least, some people believe the world's greatest fictional detective was an INFP. They believe that Sherlock Holmes had an introverted nature and appreciation for detail that came in handy as he solved mysteries, making him an INFP. Now, I'm not sure about that one, but maybe so. Who knows? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, please. Was Sherlock Holmes an INFP? And who are some other famous fictional INFPs in your opinion? Thanks for watching.